What's up everyone and welcome back to the Werewoof Reactions. My name is Wolfie and today we're going to be talking about issue number 6 of the IDW Sonic the Hedgehog comic series. Gleam please, thank you, come on, there, uh-oh, camera unfocused, yeah we got it, there we go. Let's take a look.
Shadow Basketball!
So a lot of you guys were excited for me to review this one after the cliffhanger that was the last issue. We are finally picking up issue number 6. Yeah, this one kind of had a big payoff leading into another cliffhanger, but let's quickly summarize the story before we get into that. So, this picks up right where the last one left off, of course, where we find Shadow and Rouge basically overheard what Eggman said about Eggman Land as well. And unlike Sonic, who kind of had like a what the heck reaction, Shadow was immediately like, kill mode, must go into kill mode. And he just jumps down and immediately makes a beeline for Eggman. And Sonic, of course, is trying to stop the bloodshed. Sonic basically, this is one of the best parts of this, is if you enjoy Sonic versus Shadow, you're gonna get a lot of that in this one. And they really worked it into this story. So Sonic, of course, is trying to stop Shadow from destroying Mr. Tinker. To no avail. He's trying to talk to Shadow, but Shadow's not really having any of it. Like, he's kind of listening, but not really. Like, Shadow is kind of brash, is the easy way to put it. He's kind of kill first, ask questions later in most cases, and in this case, he's already been triggered to kill mode, so it's kind of hard to set him off. So Sonic is trying to talk to him as they're fighting, but as you can maybe if I can find some pictures, some illustrations over here, I'll start putting them up. Like, they are fighting, and Sonic's trying to talk to Shadow, and he's like, Shadow, listen to me. Like, this is not the same Eggman. He's lost his memories. You know, he's not the same. We already confirmed he doesn't remember anything. And Shadow's like, I don't care. He must die. And he's fighting Sonic, and as they're fighting, they're just doing the Dragon Ball Z thing of, like, you know, where it shows like the lines of movement. And they're moving so fast the other characters can't even perceive their movements. Like, we flash to, like, the Chaotix who are on the ground, and they're just kind of like, you know, why are we standing around? Vector's like, why are we standing around, boys? Let's go help Sonic! And then, you know, it kind of just shows what the Chaotix are seeing, and you just see, like, a blue and red, like, blur lines going all over the village as they're fighting, and they're like, okay, yeah, you know what, maybe we can't actually do anything about this, they're kind of going too fast. And Espio has a funny line where he's like, well, I could help, you know, I could help Sonic, but I'm too tired from that last Badnik attack from the last issue. But yeah, we kind of follow Sonic and Shadow as they're fighting through the forest. They're zipping all over the place. As they're fighting through the forest, Sonic is trying to talk sense into Shadow. He's like, listen, you know, Eggman's not so bad, you know, he can turn over a new leaf, you know. Remember the time he helped us in Sonic Adventure 2? And there's a flashback to Sonic Adventure 2. Remember when he helped us in Sonic Adventure 2 to stop the Ark from crashing into the Earth? And then Shadow kind of gives him this look, and then Sonic's like, yeah, okay, so, yeah, maybe Eggman was behind that, you know, it was kind of his fault that happened in the first place. Bad example, you know. What about the time, what else? There was a flashback to something else. Give me a second. Okay, I remember now. It was when the Black Arms invaded. He's like, well, what about the time the Black Arms invaded and they came down to Earth and they were gonna destroy everything? Eggman helped us fight them off. And then Shadow kind of has a moment where he's like looking down like, like you could tell Shadow's thinking. It's kind of running in his mind. He's like, he is kind of right, but still, I have to murder. It's just in my blood. And then, you know, Sonic's like, think, Shadow. Come on, you know, don't have to do this. And he's like, after all, you were gonna destroy the world too. And that's a reference, of course, back to Sonic Adventure 2 when Shadow was still kind of mixed up about what he was wanting to do, and he kind of misinterpreted Maria's wish of what to do with the planet. And then he's like, if you can be forgiven, can't Eggman? And then that kind of was just like that moment where Shadow was like, God damn it, freaking logic. Alright, I'll hold off my kill boner for now, Sonic. And then, you know, and then he's like, he starts talking with Sonic some more. They finally stop fighting, and then he's like, but there is something we need to talk about, Shadow. I did want to talk to Eggman more about Eggman Land. And then Shadow's like, Eggman Land. That's right, you distracted me. And he just immediately takes off. And Sonic's like, uh-oh. He went back to the village. And one of the funniest moments of this comic is when Shadow's headed back to the village. the Chaotix are like lined up. Oh wait, before I get to that, hang on. Sorry, I'm skipping all over the place because it's like I just read it and I'm going based off of memory. I should just actually have the comic flipped open so I can do that, but this is all from memory. Before that, while Sonic and Shadow were fighting in the forest, a little bit earlier, the Chaotix were basically talking to Rouge, and they're like, you know, why did you bring Shadow here, knowing that this was going to happen? And then Rouge was like, who do you think gave you that anonymous tip to come here in the first place? And what are the chances that Sonic happened to also get a tip to come here as well? It's almost like, you know, there were measures to prevent Shadow from actually killing Mr. Tinker. And the Chaotix like, oh, I see. Rouge was the one that set up the anonymous tip for the Chaotix to come here to check up on Eggman and make sure that he was legit, and then she also sent the tip to the others that she knew would relay to Sonic, which would also cause Sonic to come here, and then Rouge took Shadow to the village where she knew the Chaotix and Sonic would be there just in case things went wrong, which they did. So Rouge is definitely smarter than she comes off at, than a lot of people take her for. I know a lot of people seem to think that Rouge is not that intelligent, but she's actually quite intelligent. She's a double agent, both working for and against Gun when needs be, and even working with and against Shadow at the same time. She has like Shadow's best interests in mind. She is like one of his closest friends after all, but she's not outright in that mindset of, oh, I'm gonna help Shadow no matter what. She's thinking in the long run what would be better in the long run for everybody, even if it does mean going against her good friend Shadow. That's not to say we haven't even seen Omega in this yet, but I digress. So we see that Rouge set this whole thing up. Back to what I was saying earlier, Shadow's coming back to the village after talking with Sonic, and he had the change of heart, and he goes straight to Eggman, and the Chaotix are like setting up in front of where Mr. Tinkerer is in the house, and they're like, alright Shadow, you may be faster than us, but you can't get through us, and then Shadow just chaos controls, just teleports past the Chaotix and into the house, and he's like, alright Mr. Tinker, show me this Eggman land you speak of. And then Mr. Tinker's like, well, okay, I didn't want to reveal it yet. And then he lifts the curtain, and it's a little theme park. And he's like, I built this for the kids, so the kids would have something to do. There's not much for them to do here, so I figured I'd set up a nice little thing for them. And then, Sonic kind of shows up behind Shadow. He's like, see? Completely harmless. And Rouge is like, oh, yeah, such a threat. Like, she's teasing Shadow. And then Shadow's like, ah, oh, damn it. Alright, fine. You can stay. And that's kind of how the issue gets resolved. It's just Shadow kind of puts off his kill state. He just turns the switch off, and that's pretty much how that resolves. We got a good Sonic vs. Shadow fight where we kind of see they're evenly matched, so that was a fun little fight. But here's the crazy thing. Here's the craziest part of all. At the end of everything, after all the things have been resolved, let me see if I can quickly find that page. Let me see. Yes. After that, we see the chair finally turn around at Eggman's lair. And it turns out Dr. Eggman is in that seat. Or is it? Dr. Eggman turns around and he's like, ready the Egg Fleet. If you don't know what the Egg Fleet is, that is from, I believe, Sonic Heroes. That was the big, giant ship entourage he had in the sky that was ready to take over the planet. So, Eggman is and isn't behind this, because the question now gets raised is that the real Eggman at Eggman's lair who is organizing all these attacks? Because it doesn't seem to be the case, and I'll state why in a little bit, but there are a lot of questions that are brought up now, which is Mr. Tinker actually Eggman with amnesia? Or is that a fake created by the Ruby, created by the illusions of the Ruby from Forces? Or is that the actual Eggman with amnesia, and that's a fake at the lair? And vice versa. It's like a question of which one's the real one now. And for that matter, if these attacks have really been by Eggman, how come they're so disorganized? You'd think Eggman would be very good at running his own, his own egg fleet, his own badniks by now. He'd have these guys organized to the point where it's like, well, yeah, he's smart and intelligent. He would not make simple mistakes like that. And even there's some things that were clued in, like things he said in the previous issues where he was like, how was Sonic there? Was there another camp there? How did he know? And if the person, the Eggman behind the seats at Eggman's lair, didn't know that Mr. Tinker was at that village, that means that you know what I mean? Are you guys understanding like what I mean by there are so many questions now? Because that can't be the real Eggman behind that seat. That can't be the real Eggman in that lair. It just doesn't seem the clues and the pieces aren't coming together in a way that I think that's the real Eggman. It could be. Maybe he's still shaken after the battle and forces, but there's too many questions now where I'm like, is that really him though? Also, quick shout out, you guys were all pointing out that Mr. Tinker's outfit is one of the old, original designs for Eggman before Eggman got finalized. I did not know that. That's a Sonic fact that even I didn't know, so thank you guys for pointing that out. As far as I'm concerned, this is a really good issue. Now the question raised is now, what happens next? Does is Mr. Tinker gonna show up later as Eggman when he gets his memories back, or is that a fake created by Eggman to throw the main characters off? What happens now? I like it. I like where the story is leading up to now. We are getting all our heroes coming together in a kind of Avenger style, kind of like how the Mania Adventures are going now, where everything's kind of leading up and building up to something here. This is going to be a lot of fun when these next few issues come out. I cannot wait for issue number 7 because I want to know where things go from here. And hopefully you guys are also, reading along with me, and we can all try to take guesses and, shots in the dark together. And hopefully one of us gets it right. But as far as I'm concerned, this was a lot of fun. It was great to see Sonic vs. Shadow again. We haven't really seen those two fights since, I guess, Heroes is the last time they really truly fought, but that was with Shadow with Amnesia, and that was weird, the weird team battle. Let me know what you guys thought of this issue. Let me know in the comments below. Hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe to Werewoof Reactions, more videos like this if you haven't already. Also, I forgot to give this issue a rating. I will give this one an 8.6 out of 10. Really fun, and hopefully issue 7 is just as good as this one. There are a lot of characters that we still have not seen yet, and I'm hoping that we're gonna see the return of Omega as well as others. Yeah, I think I'm done here. Stay tuned.